Do you have a home that's been on the market for a couple of months? Maybe you're getting close to the listing agreement that you signed and you're not getting the offers that are attractive, or you're not getting any offers at all. What if you just bought the home within the past year or two and you know the equity is not there? Do you want to have to write a check at closing to cover the deficit? Most of us do not want to do that, and many of us would not even have the money to write that check. So the question comes up, what can I do if I cannot sell my property? This question comes up, unfortunately, a little more frequently. Sometimes we bought a house and plans changed. Maybe we got a new job and we have to relocate, and we've only had the property a short period of time. Regardless of the market condition, there is simply not enough equity to sell the house. Over the past year in our market, prices have kind of slowed down a little bit. So that equity increase we saw just a couple years ago is not there today. So it takes us back to that question. What can I do if I cannot sell my property? If this was a property that you lived in, you did not buy this property to be a rental. But with a change in circumstance, this may be a fantastic option. Many people bought when the interest rates were at these fantastic rates. You're never going to get that interest rate again, or at least not anytime soon. So have you considered the idea of renting your property? Why would we want to rent a property? Well, number one, the longer you own the property, the less you owe on the mortgage. Well, we know that. But what if it's not you paying down the equity, but it's a tenant? Have you thought about that? If the property is now rented for, let's say, 5 or 10 years, and each month, most of the payment is coming from the tenant, going towards your mortgage, they're paying the equity. Now, in the first year or two, that's not going to be a major difference. But when we're talking 5, 10, even 15 years, the tenant or tenants in that time frame are paying down your mortgage and giving you equity. So even though you may not be making a positive cash flow, that is not the biggest benefit. The benefit is the equity. The market goes up and down just like the stock market. So while today may not be the best time to sell, and yes, there would become a time where you could break even, but that's not where you make your money. You make the money after that time, once you start to have more value in the home than you owe. So for those who sold in, say, 2019 or 2020, that had owned their home since 2006, yes, they got out from under the obligation of a monthly payment. But maybe they didn't make any money. What about those owners that kept the house for just a couple more years? 2022 seemed to be the peak of prices. The people who were able to sell in that window did fantastic. It only was 2, maybe 3 years of a difference for some, and it made a huge difference. So now, as we're in a time of question and uncertainty, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what we do know is by keeping the property as a rental for a longer period of time, there will always be equity in the property no matter what the market is doing. So let's talk a little bit about your property, about your fears, maybe some of the concerns that you've heard in the past. And let's talk about the reality of the rental process. Let's answer those questions and see why this could be a fantastic investment opportunity for you and your future. My name is Baron McWright. Give me a call. Let's talk about your property.